On this episode of Making the Video, Internet Islands steps into their most surreal production yet, the dreamlike visual for their track Chamomile, from their debut EP, Veils. With 40 extras, one location, and just a single day to shoot, the entire crew works in sync to bring the vision to life. This is Making the Video, Chamomile.
Hello, this is Owen from Internet Islands, and this is Making the Video for Chamomile. My favorite moment on the shoot was the bike scenes. I don't ever imagine myself being brave enough to ride on an actual bike, so it was fun to get to experience it. It's also my favorite scene of the video in general. Behind the scenes, they were holding my hair and waving it in order to get that blowing in the wind effect.
Leaf blower coming on.
Let's get that leaf blower close. Yeah, nice. That looks good, Evan. And Frankie, begin moving.
And I think it came out looking super cool.
Hi, my name is Costa. I was a co-director on the Chamomile music video.
Hi, my name is Schantz, and I was the other co-director for the Chamomile music video. The vision and also just the general concept of the video was kind of this spin on having your picture taken, some a yearbook photo influence, but the biggest inspiration behind it was having really unique and distinct characters that are posing for a portrait, but they don't they're not characters that you would see and know in the world that we know. It's kind of like portraits of characters from another world, so to speak.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite examples of sort of nailing that tone and that sort of thematic vibe that we were going for is our little boy boxer kid, who is just something you could kind of see in our world. There are boxers and there are little kids running around, but I think you combine those two things and you sort of remove it from reality a little bit. As the video goes on, things get more and more surreal until the point where we have fully animated characters kind of at certain points, and completely VFX characters later on in the video too, which is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that Costa said early on that I really liked was, we're not on Earth anymore, we're next door. So that's kind of a phrase we used when making our characters, and that was just really true, I think, for what our vision was as well.
Okay. Well, Scratch can come up here this way.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Anderson, the drummer for Internet Islands. The way we came across Costa and Summer was actually through Summer's photography. She's been doing a lot of cool work for artists in Atlanta, and we saw her photos on our feed. Eventually, she sent us a DM and wanted to discuss working together. We wanted a music video for each song on our EP, so at the time, we did have a few song options. We sent Summer and Costa a list of our works in progress and let them pick the track they were most inspired by.
We heard an earlier mix of the song and really enjoyed just how ethereal and otherworldly it sounded and it felt transportative, and it felt kind of like we were going to this underworld type thing where it just felt like we were meeting these weird characters as we listened to it over and over. And Mion is almost the guide into that world, and what's fun is we get to end the whole video with her sitting in the chair at the end of the video and looking directly into the camera. And the idea there is that maybe she's somebody who is a guide to these characters and meeting them for the first time too, and she's sort of part of the cast of the characters by the end of the video.
We had 3 distinct backdrops in this video that we used, and there was a lot of decisions to be made about what colors we chose for the backdrops, because we knew that main green backdrop would be seen a lot, and we wanted it to be visually interesting but also not distracting and go with all of our characters. And I think we're really happy with that final green we ended up with.
So we always knew that we wanted 2 spaces. We always knew we wanted 2 distinct color palettes and 2 looks. Adding sort of that blue third backdrop, which is something that we did really late, was a fun way to give Mion a sort of second look.
The makeup I got to try for this video was also interesting. The artist experimented with a bunch of funky color combos, like I'm wearing green lipstick and red mascara at one point, and it really works for that otherworldly, slightly strange appearance that we were going for. For the video, I had to sing in 2 times speed because there was going to be some shots that were going to slow down, and to get that effect I had to speed it up a little bit, which isn't necessarily hard, but it was a little awkward because I'm used to singing this song a specific way.
Summer and I definitely have a very flowy type of approach when it comes to filmmaking. My favorite way to make movies or any visual art is to go out with a talented group of people and sort of let your gut guide you and have, equipment ready and a talented team and just create. But with this video being so insular of a concept, so straightforward, right? We have one locked off camera for the majority of the shoot, and we have 40 people we have to photograph today. We have 40 models that have to come through and sit for us. We knew that this time around, we are going to be super strict on the schedule, and we are only going to shoot exactly what we need.
So then, with all of those characters, they had very distinct wardrobe, and then a lot of it was just kind of sourcing what we had first, and then kind of from there getting specific pieces, but most everything was secondhand. So we had this idea of this character with long hair with wind being blown in their face, but then we added that prop of the newspaper, which then made us want the wardrobe to kind of be a little bit businessy.
So the challenge quickly became, how can we tell a story without much movement, without any dialogue? The most you ever see a single character on screen for in the final edit is about 6 seconds.
The most difficult hurdle for a character was just, we wanted to fight for this because we really wanted someone to shave their head on camera. And the one willing participant we could find who was in the video, he had a very tight schedule because he's a firefighter. So it was this whole logistical thing, and he was also just super passionate and excited about it too, which was awesome. But literally had to drive over to set on his lunch break, shave his head, and run out.
We knew going into this that there was going to be a big post-production aspect to a lot of these looks, and even just minimal touch-ups and wire removals and making a character float for a little bit and making a character have 8 arms or something. So that was a challenge too, just making sure that we captured everything correctly on the day of. And we had done extensive testing beforehand. There's videos of me that are embarrassing where I play every character, and you can find those maybe in this documentary. Maybe I'll upload those.
The particular moment that stood out to me during shooting was probably when we put the motorcycle on the stage.
Yeah, we really, really wanted to have a motorcycle in this video. I don't remember who pitched it initially, but we had this amazing pattern that we had set up with a chair, and everyone's sitting in a chair, and everyone's sitting in this chair. And we have a new character come in, and they're in the chair. We're almost at the end of this video. We've seen 39 people in a chair. How can we keep the yearbook format, have somebody sitting in front of the backdrop, but we have to do something new? And we thought of ideas all the way from someone standing on the chair or moving the chair back or closer to the camera. And initially it got suggested that, well, what if we have someone sit on their motorcycle and they've come in and sort of have this slow motion kind of movement on the motorcycle as if they're driving it. When that came together, we looked at monitors. Summer and I were both really excited, looking at each other oh, this is exactly what we wanted. And that was great. And then Mion's long hair waving as the bike is driving is something we didn't even storyboard, and we hadn't really considered until we're sitting there and somebody says, oh, I think we could make it look like her hair is moving. And that just sold it. And it's just really one of my favorite shots, and it's just something that's so evocative and so interesting and unique, and I love it so much.
Another particular moment that stood out for me that also kind of ties into one of my favorite characters is Costa had this vision of making this paper mache mask. And I had faith that it would work out, but I didn't really fully see the vision. But once he put that mask on and with the whole costume, that was one of my favorite characters, was this mask creation you made.
I The glue was drying on the mask on set while I was wearing it. I was working on it up until the wire, as a lot of the things go. We got to make a lot of cool practical things, and Summer did a great job working with Haley, our wardrobe artist, and creating this super streamlined system where we had all of our costumes, all of our pieces, all of our props labeled, bagged, ready to go for each and every character the night before. Gabby did a great job as our bird winged creature, just bringing that to life and having these strange ethereal movements. I love our alien twins. Jada and Janessa both did just a fantastic job. They were having so much fun doing that. Our makeup artist, Mickey, was just so overwhelmingly kind and so phenomenal and so good at keeping like these really hard looks on a really tight schedule, and so I give her so much credit. She did a great job.
What's also really fun about it that I loved is it just made the day kind of like a revolving door of people because of how quick they were coming in and out, and every time I would look at someone, they'd be getting in costume or getting in makeup or they'd be done, and a lot of these are people, you know, that we know as well. So that was super fun for me to just be like, oh my gosh, it's Tess, and that's one of my favorite characters, Marie Antoinette. Tess and all of this, you know, like makeup with the hair, like I love it, you know? And it was so fun to have so many little concepts kind of happening all at once.
Thank you all so much for having us on board with this video, genuinely. And we had a blast and are so excited to get it out into the world, and thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
As always, I hope our listeners enjoy the visuals, and this is a video for Chamomile.